Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna have a little fun playing around with the newest Certifeye palette. This is the Affinity 2. So it is the blue and green palette if you haven't already seen this one. This is the sister palette to Affinity 1, which looks like this. I don't own it. Kind of when it came out, I just decided I didn't need it in my collection. Like I've mentioned, I've been trying to be really picky about what I buy. I've been really drawn to the bright like greens and blues lately, so you're going to be seeing a lot of that coming up on my channel. I feel like the video, obviously I just posted yesterday, I did a very green look, so this one's going to be very blue and green. And then the newest Alien Cosmetics palette that I purchased has like a very bluish kind of vibe to it. So, you know, of course blue blood and all that. So there's a lot of blues and greens going on right now, which I'm not complaining about. I love it. So yeah, I figured we would do a little look, see how these work. So far I have swatched them already, so I'll go ahead and insert the swatches now so you can see what they look like. I only own one other Certifeye palette, and that's the Destiny palette, which if you haven't already watched it, I did a really fun collab with Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner where we used every single shade in the palette, so I'll link that above if you want to check that out if you haven't already seen it. But that's the only one that I own, and I do feel like with that palette, the shadow formula seemed a little bit drier, like the mattes seemed a little bit drier, and they came off a little bit different like on the skin than they looked in the pan. I'm guessing maybe they've changed their formula or tweaked it a little bit because I didn't really notice that with this when I was swatching it. For the most part, all of these colors swatched pretty true. With the exception of maybe some of the really, really dark ones, they kind of swatched a little bit lighter, but they were very easy to build up. But as far as like the tones were, they seemed very true to the tone that you saw here. And just the mattes in general seemed like a little bit of that more like creamy, buttery type of matte feeling. So I'm hoping that translates to like a more pigmented eye look because I have some high hopes for these really beautiful blues and greens. So I'm just gonna do one look in this video. I really wanted to do two looks, but like I've mentioned, I've got a lot of palettes that I'm trying to review coming up. Next week is probably already going to be filled with some bonus videos because I really want to go ahead and crank some of these out so you guys can see some of these new releases quickly. So I can always revisit this in the future with a two-look video if you guys want to see that. But I figured what I would do today, just to kind of like satisfy the want that I have to try as many shades as possible, is maybe do like a little flip-flop type of eye look where I do like blue up top, blue down here, green up top, green down here. That way I can really kind of see how some of these blues and greens work, and also just do something a little bit different because I feel like I've been doing the half cut crease with like 2 or 3 shimmers across the lid a lot lately. So we're gonna do, you know, probably something similar to that, but I'm gonna try to not cut the crease if I can get away with it with some of these shimmers. I really just wanna see how the mattes perform mostly. And I'm very interested in some of the duochrome shades in here. I think there's just 2. I believe this one and this one are the duochromes. Or I guess maybe that one too. I don't know, but they are beautiful as far as the swatches go. So let me give you some details about the palette itself. Certifeye is a UK-based brand, so all their website and everything, it's in euros. So the palette retails for 32 euros, which when I popped it into like one of the little US dollar translators as of today, it comes out to be about $36. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. I did pre-order the palette, but as of right now, it just says add. So I believe that it's just in stock now, so you can just buy it. And then it is cruelty-free and vegan. So I do believe that the Affinity 1 palette, all the shadow names I believe were named after like important women in her life, in the owner's life. And this palette is all male names. So I believe it's again the same thing where it's all like important men in her life, which I think that's really cool because, you know, if you're an indie brand, you can kind of personalize these things. And I just love that. If I had a brand, I would want to do things like that too. So it's really cool. I will say my palette seemed to have kind of gotten a little misaligned with like the printing of the names. So like some of the names are like kind of gone into the shadow a bit, but it does have them all like on the website, so I might try to pull this up so I can make sure I'm reading it correctly. I might accidentally mispronounce some of these, so if I do, I apologize, but I'll at least pull it up on here because one of these I can't tell what the first letter is, but I can pull it up on here and see. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Let's go ahead and zoom in and get started on the eye look. Okay, so I think I'm going to do blue up top on this side and green up top on this side. So I want to start out with this lightest blue shade, which is Nawab. And I'm gonna use a fluffy brush and just kind of softly brush this through the crease area. I'm being very light-handed at first because I'm trying to still mentally decide what shape I want to go with this little eye look. If I want to do like an elongated wing or do maybe a halo eye. I guess I ought to decide. I think I am still gonna go for a winged look, so I'm gonna build this a little bit more and kind of flare it out a little bit. I'm gonna grab a similar style brush, and for the green, I think I'm gonna go into this green right here, which is Schmel, I believe. And same thing. I feel like my primer's a little tackier on this side for some reason. I didn't set my primer on either side, but I just feel like it's grabbing more on this side. I'm try to just really softly blend this one out because I feel like the other side has a lot more of a lighter blend up onto the brow bone. I want them to be similar. Okay, hair. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with my hair now. As you guys have probably noticed by now, I change my hair a lot. So I'm trying to decide if I want to keep the pixie or kind of grow it back to a more bob length. I do know, like I've got to just figure out what I want to do as far as like the undercut, if I want to let it keep growing or if I want to go at least have that trimmed. I do know I want to let this length grow back a little bit, but I still might keep the rest of it at like a pixie length, but I just can't decide. What do you guys think? All right, I am gonna go back into the first blue just because, like I said, that green came off way more pigmented. I just feel like I need to build this blue up a bit better to match. And I can deepen it up with one of the other ones. That's probably what I'm gonna do next. I do wanna keep this a very kind of light look. Like I will probably just deepen up the outer corner, but other than that, I don't want it to get too dark and heavy. I think I'm just gonna use my trusty little tiny brush. Let's see, so we will go into the next darkest blue shade, which is Hussein. That one had a little bit of kick up on that first light blue. And then I'm gonna work this into the crease and blend it upward just to deepen this. I'm gonna be light-handed at first again. Okay, I feel like combining those two together already matches this other side better as far as the like tone and the depth of the color. I'm gonna take this fluffy brush and jump into this lightest green shade right here, which is Shiraz, just a touch, and go right up at this upper edge. Okay, and then I really just want to deepen up the outer corners of these and maybe just I'll run a little bit of it into the crease. So let's do the green side first. I think I'm gonna do this shade right here, which is Nadim, I believe, and kind of just pack it out here. If I need to grab another color, I will, but for now, we're gonna start with this one. Pack it and lightly blend it outward, just kind of brush it outwards. Yeah, I do think I need to go darker. All right, so that's my base. And then just to add a little bit more depth, we'll go into the darkest one, which is this last one right here, Shahzad. And again, I'm just gonna kind of more tap it and then blend. You can definitely tell it's darker on the outer corner, but I really expected it to be darker. We'll leave it alone for now. I'm gonna clean the brush off. And then to do the same thing on the blue side, I think we're gonna use this shade right here, Munir. We'll try that one first. I'm gonna take just the tiniest bit of this one, which that's the one that's really cut off on my palette. So let me see what it says. Looks like it's Ijaz. Take just a tiny bit of that. Focus right on this little outer edge. I feel like I need to do something to darken up this side more. I'm gonna try to add this shade right here, Alver. Just because it's such a different tone, I'm hoping it'll add a little bit of depth. Okay, I think it's working the way I want it to. It's just giving it a different depth. And then I think just to help it blend, I'll take the fluffy brush from the beginning, go into Hussein, and just lightly brush over this outer part. All right, so we're gonna pop a shimmer across the lid on both sides. So on the blue side, we're gonna do this shade right here, which is Aftab. And then we'll do Bilal, this one right here on the green side. And then I think I will use the duochromes maybe over the top. So let me just zip through. I will pop them on with my finger and then I'll use a brush if I need to. And then we'll just jump back into those deeper shades from before. So a little mixture of Munir and Hussein on this outer part. And then same thing over here. We'll just do Shahzad at first and see how that works. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay, so that's the upper lid area done. Let's go down to the lower lash line. So we're gonna do blue on this side, green on this side to tie everything in. I'm gonna start out with a deeper shade right against the lash line. So I think I'm just gonna stick with the ones I've already used, honestly. I'm gonna start out with Munir right there. And that's what I'm gonna line the lower lash line with on this one. I might grab one of the deeper shades once I've laid it down. And then I'm gonna grab a pencil brush and I'm gonna do Hussein, I believe. I'm gonna try that first and do it more like right at the bottom of this line. Okay, then I wiped off this brush, which was the kind of fluffy flat angled brush. And I'm gonna jump into the lightest shade, which was this one right here, Nawab. And I'm gonna just very lightly run that right underneath. And if I need to go back in, I can go back into the other shades. I like that, it gave a nice little gradient, perfect. Okay, so for this side, I might have to do a little bit of layering. Let's try this shade, Simab. We're gonna try that one along the lash line. I think that worked nicely. And then of course, we'll take this shade right here on the pencil brush. This one was Shmail. The bottom end of it, blend. And then with the fluffy brush, we will go into the brightest one, which was Shiraz. This one was way more pigmented than the blue on the other side, so I'm gonna try to be really light-handed here. And just very lightly brush this underneath. So as you can tell, like this side you have a very obvious gradient, this side it starts to kind of all look the same. So I'm gonna try to get a little variation in here. So I'm gonna go back in with the liner brush and try Shahzad and try that on the lash line area. It's almost like it's gotten just too heavy on this side. All right, I'm gonna take a clean brush and just buff it out. Okay, I grabbed a little translucent powder to help kind of buff it out. And then what I'm gonna do is go back in. So we've got the dark mixture of these two shades, this one and this one, which was Shahzad and Albert. Just making sure it's still nice and defined at the lash line. I'm gonna not bring it down too far this time. And then this time, I'm gonna take a little bit of that fluffy brush into Shiraz right here and really lightly, softly kind of drag it down here. Okay, I think that kind of works to mirror the gradient we have over here. It's not gonna be as precise, but it's still pretty. Okay, so I do wanna use the little duochrome shades. This one right here, the one that's in the green section, Shuhaib. I'm gonna take a little bit of that on my finger. Like, look how pretty that is. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just tap it in the center. I don't know if it's gonna show up or not. I'm hoping it'll just kind of catch the light and reflect in different ways. It's very pretty though. And then same thing. So this one up here is Navid. And when I get that on my finger, it's more of like a bluey purple kind of shift. Same thing. So I don't even know if you can tell. I can see the subtle difference, but it might not be very easy to pick up on camera. They're really pretty colors though. I think they would be gorgeous just on their own. All right, last but not least, we're going to take the lightest shade, which is Certifeye right here, and that's going in the inner corner. It's really pretty. I kind of want to see what it looks like if I spray it though. I do wish they would have had like a similar really light iridescent green shade in here too, but you know, I'm not gonna complain that much. All right, that is pretty much it for the eye. Let's grab something for the waterline on each side. We got teaspoon for the green side, and then I think for the blue side, I'm gonna use, oh, there we go. This is Electric Blue from NYX. So let me pop these in the waterlines real quick. All right, so this is it for the eyes. Let me go ahead and add my mascara, liner, and lashes off camera, and I'll pick out a lip and kind of give you guys some little first impression thoughts afterwards. I'm gonna do the Milk Kush mascara, my good old LA Splash Livewire liner, and then I'm gonna do the Golden Gatsby lashes in Sittin' Pretty. I really need to buy more of these. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look with liner, mascara, and lashes. And then for lips, I added this lip gloss from the Ulta Beauty and Marvel collection. This one is the shade Electrifying, so it's just a kind of fun shimmery pink. I figured a nice bright pink would go nicely with the bright blue and green eyes. I'm definitely really happy with the way that this turned out and the way these shadows performed. I do still feel like the formula is a little bit different from the palette that I owned previously, Dynasty. I do feel like it was just a lot more pigmented, and you know, it still had a very easy blend to it, but the colors were just a lot more pigmented. And for the most part, they all kind of stood out on their own. I mean, once you got into some of these greens, they did start to kind of blend together when you add them all into one look. So I mean, you might want to just avoid doing that. I noticed that with their red tones, they all kind of seem to blend together. You get a little bit of a variation, but not quite as much as you get with the blue side. Still very gorgeous tones though, and I'm very interested to play around with some more looks, like with maybe the deeper colors. I really want to layer like this shade and this shade over the top of a matte to see how it stands out, because it doesn't quite stand out as much on the top of this shimmer, though it is still really pretty. And yeah, overall, I'm definitely happy with this palette. I do want to do some more looks with it, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know down below what you would be interested in. Would you rather see a 2-look video or a palette bingo video? I can do either of those, and maybe it'll just come out sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because like I've mentioned, I have so much stuff coming in right now. I swear everything that I pre-ordered has shipped at the exact same time. So literally it's just all coming in, and now I'm like, you know, in this dilemma of what to post first. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know below what you'd like to see next out of this palette, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.